I generally do 5 p.m. from the studio. Today it's a different show. I am sitting in a Tata Sierra, brand new one, announcing a brand new partnership. I'm very proud and delighted to be able to say that Trailblazers Conclave 4.0 between the 14th and 17th of March will be driven by Tata Motors. And you will see a lot of this beautiful car at the conclave. And that's why I thought I would much rather come here and do the show here. As you can see, a beautiful car. But the subject of my show today can't be anything but Bangladesh. Bangladesh has scored a self-goal. Bangladesh, we all know, loves to self-destruct. And that is what is happening as we speak. For the last 24 hours, the Bangladesh story has moved in jet-set speed. We were thinking whether or not Bangladesh will come to India, what's going on, will they play to the World Cup or not, the ICC is in no mood to relent, all of that was going on. And in the middle of it all, if it was one Asif Nazrul who was becoming a problem for the Bangladesh Cricket Board, Nazmul Islam decides to really up the ante. So much so that he calls Tami Iqbal, one of the legends of Bangladesh cricket, an Indian stooge. Imagine this. Tami Iqbal's stature will be that of what? Say, of a Virendra Sehwag, of a Saurav Ganguly, a Rahul Dravid. He's that level equivalent in Bangladesh. If someone today comes and says that these people are not even relevant and they are stooges of another country, imagine what would happen in India. Understandably, there was rage, proper outrage. Nazmul Islam, instead of holding back, instead of falling back and apologizing, agreeing that he made a blunder, an absolute howler, decides to up the ante. And here comes his trump card. Nazmul Islam in full senses says that Bangladesh going to the T20 World Cup really doesn't matter because what would happen? They would lose. How on earth does the advisor to the BCB have the temerity, the audacity, the stupidity to say this? One really doesn't understand. How can you denigrate your own players? How can you insult your own players? How can you humiliate your own players and your own team? Understandably, there was outrage in the country. There was proper outrage in the country, so much so that the players decided to boycott the first game of the Bangladesh Premier League. Around 3 p.m. India time, 2:15 p.m. Bangladesh time is when the press conference started. Multiple current players, Mehdi Hassan Miraz being one of them, Fiz being the other, they addressed the media. And from what we know, and we have spoken to a number of Bangladesh journalists who were there, the players looked relatively relaxed, and what they have done is they've put an ultimatum for Nazmul Islam. And the ultimatum is, if he doesn't resign within the next 48 hours, they will again boycott the Bangladesh Premier League. That's where the matter is at the moment. So clearly, on the one hand are the players, on the other hand is a board official who's a sports director, or director of the Bangladesh Cricket Board. What does the board say? The board, in trying to douse the fire, the board in trying to placate the players, have said that whatever Nazmul Islam has said is his own view. The board is not of the point of view that has been put forward by the director of the Bangladesh Cricket Board. But what the BCB doesn't understand is if it says, or if it tries to isolate itself or move away from the statements of Nazmul Islam, the fire is now so violent that by taking itself away will no longer solve the problem. They will have to take a strong stance. And what is that stance? Will the Bangladesh Cricket Board ask its independent director to resign? Do they have the powers to ask the independent director to resign? Can they do that? Can they placate the players and get them back on board? Can they get back the respect that the players deserve? Can Bangladesh cricket get back on track? Will sanity prevail? Will sense prevail? Are the questions that we need to ask. The problem is that when you try to placate the political class, when you try to placate your electorate and up the ante, you kind of lose sense. You kind of don't realize where the line has to be drawn. For the next couple of minutes, let us recount what has happened. When India decided not to allow Mustafizur Rahman to play the IPL, Bangladesh thought this is our opportunity to play the jingoistic card and the ultra-nationalist card against India. We will make this issue a really strong political one. For the last 16 odd months, the anti-India rhetoric has been strong. We know that. We know that the current government, the UNIS government, is not favorably disposed. We know that there is an election coming on the 12th of February. We know that the idea of an anti-India rhetoric is strong in the country. So what happened was, though the Bangladesh Cricket Board did not want to boycott or did not want to say that we will not travel to India, they were literally, our sources say, forced to do so. Asif Nazrul, the sports advisor to the Bangladesh Cricket Board, put it out in social media that Bangladesh will not travel to India and he will advise the cricket board to make the announcement. Even before the cricket board announced it, Asif Nazrul had said that. The next day, after multiple rounds of meetings, the Bangladesh Cricket Board sent a missive to the ICC where it said they are unwilling to travel to India, citing security concerns. Here, three questions come to mind. One, what were the security concerns all about when there was nothing in terms of security concerns before the Mustafiz announcement? Two, were there any travel advisories issued for Bangladesh fans before the Mustafiz call by the BCCI? And three, if you have watched the India versus New Zealand match yesterday in Rajkot, a certain Sharafuddollah was officiating in that match as umpire. Which country does he come from? The answer is Bangladesh. Why is the BCB mum on the matter when they have cited security concerns? Is it selective amnesia? Is it selective security concerns? Is it about playing to the gallery? Now here, Asif Nazrul did not stop. When the writing was on the wall, this matter is now 10-12 days old, and if you still go on and check the ticketing platform, you will see that tickets for the Bangladesh match in Kolkata continue to be sold. What does that tell you? Rationally, if you just deep dive, you will understand that if the ICC had to instruct the BCCI that Bangladesh matches will be relocated, the first instruction would have been given to the ticketing platform. Stop the sale of tickets because you cannot inconvenience fans. That would have been the message that would have gone out when this matter happened. Not once did the ICC stop sale of tickets. That tells you that there has been no directive whatsoever to the BCCI. Each time we have spoken to sources in the ICC and we have been told that the ICC is absolutely not willing to buy the logic given by the BCB because in its own assessment, the security threat in India is nil or very low. Now here, in this background or context or backdrop, Bangladesh should have seen the writing on the wall. Bangladesh should have understood that by playing to the gallery or upping the political ante will solve no purpose. Bangladesh should have seen that if they tried to do this, it will not cut ice with the ICC and it will go back against its own interests. The players, after much effort, have qualified for the World Cup. Now imagine you are taking the right away from a player from playing the World Cup. And here Nazmul Islam perhaps will not even realize what it will mean for the current players to come and play a T20 World Cup. It is not even in his radar to try and appreciate what the players go through. In such a scenario, Asif Nazrul goes and does a press conference a couple of days back. And that rather ridiculous press conference, if I may term it, in that press conference he makes three claims. He says Mustafizur Rahman has been asked to be dropped by the ICC. Claim number 1. He says Bangladesh fans have been advised by the ICC not to wear national jerseys. Number 3, he goes on to say that the ICC security team has said that the moment the national elections come close, the problems will escalate. All of us were stunned. I have done a couple of shows on this already. How can an international cricket governance body interfere in the domestic affairs of a particular country, a sovereign country? How can the ICC even say anything about Bangladesh elections? How can the ICC say that fans will not wear national jerseys? How can the ICC say that a certain player will not be included in the team? Can it ever happen? Is it ever likely to happen? Will the ICC ever say that? As we were debating this and saying no, the ICC can never, the ICC will not, and Asif Nazrul has overshot himself and has said things to placate the political electorate, did the ICC put everything in place? After that, the ICC came forward and said, at all, never has it said anything of the like on Mustafiz, on fans, and about the national elections. It said it was routine correspondence by the ICC security team, which was certainly not a formal missive. It had been completely misinterpreted and taken offline by Asif Nazrul. At the end of this, Asif Nazrul not only looked foolish and ridiculous, he had put his own country on the line. The Bangladesh Cricket Board, in trying to do damage control, had to come out and say, no, there was no official correspondence between the ICC and the BCB, and it went on to say that the ICC has not formally responded to the email that was sent by the BCB. As if this was not enough, as if Asif Nazrul alone was not the central act in the drama, Nazmul Islam jumps into the whole fray. There is a story to that. Tami Iqbal, a rational voice, a reasonable voice, a genuine legend of Bangladesh cricket, had come forward and asked for rationality. That's what Tamim did. Tamim did not go against the political establishment. He did not go against the BCB. All Tamim said was, caution needs to be exercised before you take a call like this, that you will boycott the T20 World Cup on Indian soil. He said that there could be financial implications. He said there could be serious revenue loss. He said the BCB would find it difficult if such a thing happens. So he urged the exercise of restraint and the exercise of serious caution. I think it was a prudent call. It was a rational thing to say. It was someone speaking out for the players, for the welfare of the players, for the welfare of the Bangladesh Cricket Board. Nazmul Islam decided to take Tamim Iqbal on, and in doing so, he called Tamim Iqbal an Indian stooge, said an Indian puppet. That's what enraged the fans. People who were quiet, people who were silent, journalists like Borshan Kobir, who were silent, started to write in social media, clearly condemning the actions of Nazmul Islam. How can you humiliate? How can you insult? How can you throw barbs at a legend of your own country? Nazmul Islam should have understood where the wind was blowing. He should have understood where the matter was headed. He should have understood what is going on. Instead, he decided to go even further, blunt the pitch and say that so what if Bangladesh doesn't play the T20 World Cup? What would happen? Will the earth turn upside down? Because in any case, Bangladesh stood to lose. Now imagine if India is playing a World Cup and a cricket board director says, oh, so what? Bangladesh will inevitably lose, India will inevitably lose. Would we take it lying down? Would we as Indian fans accept such a slur, accept such a slight? We will not. And that's precisely what happened with the Bangladesh cricketers. The cricketers revolted. Yes, you heard it right. We have seen the images. We have heard the press conference. We have seen these images where Bangladesh look rather ridiculous, rather foolish in front of the world. The world is laughing. World is seeing what is going on, the charade in Bangladesh. The press conference today was strange, where the players are saying that unless a BCB director resigns who has humiliated them, who has insulted them, they will no longer take field. And that is the story now. Bangladesh once again has self-destructed. Bangladesh has scored multiple self-goals. And in all of this, the BCCI has not said a word. From what I know, the BCCI will not even say a word because it knows that it doesn't have to do anything. Bangladesh themselves will do what is needed. The ICC, they have given every indication that they will not change the schedule. They will not placate Bangladesh. They will not oblige. They will not listen to irrational talk. The security talk, according to ICC, is not relevant because the threat is low or nil. So what is the end game? If we understand it right, the players are starting to voice. The players are starting to revolt. The players are starting to get angry, and the players are also starting to get the support of their fans. Nazmul Islam stands isolated. The BCB will have to take a stand. And going forward, that's endgame Bangladesh. Shed or remove the jingoists, remove the ultra-nationalists, save Bangladesh cricket is the clarion call. And by having to save, you will have to ask the director to resign. Anti-India stance, irrational stance against the players will not placate the fans. And that is the story of Bangladesh cricket as we speak. We at Rev Sports will continue to track the story. Debashish, Shubhayan, Shomik, all of them are on the story. You will get every update in Rev Sports Bangla, Hindi and English. That's all I have for you today at 5 at 5. The Bangladesh story hasn't ended. Rather, the pitch has been raised and it is on the boil. Thank you very much for watching. We will bring you every possible update from Bangladesh, from the Indian Open, of course on the ISL, where India now has an AFC slot. We will tell you that as well in the later on in the day. And don't you worry, Rohit Juglan will report from Zimbabwe, the India-US game from the Under-19 World Cup. So ground reports from Zimbabwe, all of the updates from Bangladesh, plenty coming your way. Thank you very much.